This is She Goes Beyond, and I'm your host, Victoria Fregis. Here we're dedicated to changing the status quo and building a powerful community of women who can do it all. Who says you only have to be one thing? So grab your rod or your bow and tune in to the stories of women who love the same things that you do. You never know, you might just meet your next best friend. If this podcast is something you listen to weekly or you've loved an episode or two, I would be so grateful if you shared it with a girlfriend, posted it to your socials, or honestly, just head over to Spotify to rate it. I appreciate you so much for being here. You heard her on episode 55, so you already know Audrey Wikan doesn't do anything halfway. So naturally, she spent 39 days this spring chasing gobblers across 20 states, punching 16 of her tags, and making unforgettable memories. We're breaking down the highs of her season, the lows, and the beautiful stories from the road. And yes, we also get into her love life updates everyone has been waiting to hear. This conversation is full of passion, love, and pure joy for this life that we get to live. Welcome back, Audrey. All right, Audrey, welcome back. I think you're the first person I've had back on the podcast.
Oh my, well, that means the first one went good.
Yeah,
So everybody should go listen to it.
Yeah, that was a great podcast. If you have not listened to that one, you absolutely should listen to that one first. But I am so happy to have you back finally. And we've been trying to get this done for like the last few weeks too. So thank you for adjusting.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me back on. I am so excited to dive into our conversation today.
Yes. Well, we are going to start with this is what's going to take us like throughout the entire podcast. So we have basically a couple topics, but the one main topic is that your turkey season was wild. So
It was.
39 days, 20 states, 16 of which you were successful. And
Correct.
you walked like almost 98 miles within that time frame. I want to
Which is
hear
unbelievable.
unbelievable, unbelievable. I want to hear all about it. There are things that came from this season, not only with turkeys, but your personal life. I want to hear all about it. So I'm just going to let you take the floor and I'll interject and ask questions as we go. But I hope everyone enjoys this episode. Like I've been watching your your story throughout like your whole turkey season. It was just so lovely because you do such a
Oh,
good job too of like incorporating the Lord and talking about how that has brought you so much joy and success in the woods. And I want you to just
uh,
give us all the details.
oh my gosh. Well, thank you. I'm so excited to dive into it. I try to tell the story as best I can through Instagram captions, but there's nothing like coming on a podcast and actually talking in and diving into not only the highs of the season, but I had a lot of lows too. And I want to be vulnerable on this episode. So,
Love it.
yes. And so I showcased a little bit of it, but not as much as I feel like I should. I think that, social media, we show, like, and everybody's guilty of it, we showcase the picture perfect version of everything, but there's no way after spending 2.5 months on the road that there was no missing
Yeah.
or that there was no fights or, I mean, gosh. So, anyways, long story short, my turkey season kicked off in March. I got in the spring woods. I think it was March 21st is when Florida turkey season started in the North Zone, and I'm from Florida. So I was hunting close to home to kick it off. It was actually really special. I got to hunt my best friend from college's family's property right outside of Daytona Beach. And so my brother and I were hunting her land and we were hunting Osceolas. And my brother and I doubled on two beautiful longbeards on Monday morning of opening weekend,
Yeah.
and it was absolutely incredible. Yeah, these I guess I like to paint the picture. We were hunting a cattle farm and it was gorgeous. The sun was still rising, birds were gobbling everywhere. This farm had not been hunted before, and so we were really blessed to have the opportunity to take the first two turkeys off of this property ever, at least for as long as their family has owned it. And anyways, the sun is rising, birds are gobbling everywhere. Well, all the birds are chirping, and then you hear the owls hooting, and then the birds gobbling. And we saw out in the distance birds pitching down. And anyways, we had a Jake and a Longbeard do it perfectly. Come on in. And they're paired up. And there's another Jake and Longbeard behind them. And I was just telling my brother, like, let's be patient. Let's be patient. We had a Jake and a hen decoy set out in front of us. And anyways, we yelped a few times. Those birds came in, and all four of them were at the decoys. So two Jakes and two Longbeards. My brother and I shot at the same time and killed two Longbeards
Oh
on
my
that Monday morning. And it was awesome. And to be able to share it with him was really special. My brother and I have just grown up in the outdoors together. And so a lot of our really special hunting memories have been shared together or with
God.
my dad or with my grandpa. And there's a tradition that I do to where anytime I kill an animal, I give them the last bite. And it was a tradition my grandfather had started, and it just makes you slow down. So once my brother and I killed our longbeards on that Monday morning, we both picked a flower. It was actually orange blossoms off of the orange trees, so very Florida. We both picked a flower and stuck it in the turkey's mouth and just prayed. And we were able to reminisce on like all that my grandpa had taught us and passed down to us of just our love for hunting and this lifestyle that we get to live, and gave the birds their last bite. So it was like the perfect way to start season. And yeah, and I was like, oh gosh, if the rest of the season looks like this, like I'm the most lucky girl. And then yeah, a few days later, I headed up to Georgia and I got a hunt with my sweet friend. Her name is Morgan Ray, and she's 14 years old, and her family has just welcomed me in like I'm one of their own. And her dad is just a wealth of knowledge in the spring woods. So he does land management, and I get to learn so much from him when we're out there. And Morgan Ray is an amazing turkey hunter. She is so knowledgeable, so skilled, and she can rip a box call like I've never seen. And so, anyways, we got to share the woods together that weekend, and she killed a bird. Gosh, it was like the first or second day I was there, and then I killed a bird a day later, and they were two magical hunts. And it was just really special to share the woods with another girl who
Mhm.
loved hunting just as much as I did. Because, we don't find that as much. Being in a male-dominated industry, it is so special to find other women who love the outdoors, and then we
Mhm.
get to share in the outdoors with them. And so, yeah, so that was awesome. I have my notes written down to like walk us through states, but feel free to interject
Oh yeah,
if
no,
you
no,
want.
keep going.
So anyways, I left Georgia and then I flew out to Texas. So I work for Drake Waterfowl, and we sell only Mossy Oak camo. And so we went Drake Waterfowl and our Old Tom line, which is our turkey line of the brand. We partnered with Mossy Oak for a turkey camp where they had us out there for a few days, and it was awesome. And so I got to hunt from a turkey legend. His name's Ernie, and he used to do competition calling, and he makes turkey calls now. And so I got to go and hunt with him in the spring woods. And Edward Wall, which is one of the most talented photographers and videographers in this industry, got to capture everything on film.
Wow.
And it was just really special to be able to capture all of that and look back at just the different calling techniques that Ernie had versus what I had versus what Ed had. Um, Ed and I actually, these birds were hung up that we were chasing, and they were hung up. And so we were on really high ground, hoping that they would come and get, I always tell people, start high. You never want to start below a bird. And so we were started high, and these birds just would not come up. And they were still probably about 200 yards away. And so, anyways, Ed and I got on our feet and looped around these birds and wound up calling them in. And it was just, I mean, the Lord allowed it to play out picture perfectly, although we were both so scared. We're like, oh gosh, we wanted to be patient, and we were patient all afternoon for the birds to come up on high ground, and they just never did. They had so many hens with them. And
Mhm.
finally, when we broke the distance and got closer and called again, that they got curious and broke away from their hens. And one did it perfectly. There was cactuses all over. We were trying to kneel and crawl through this brush that I was not used to. And anyways, yeah, Ed and I, it was so funny. We both had cactus all in our pants and yeah, it was crazy. And so that was a really special hunt as well. And then I flew back home and I had a few days just to rest between that hunt and got introduced to his name's Dalton. He's now my boyfriend. And I think that a lot of people have gone to see us fall in love over the spring through social media. And we got set up through a mutual friend. And our mutual friend reached out to both of us and said, "Hey, I think you should meet this person." And I just told my mutual friend, I was like, "Look, I'm turkey hunting this season. I'm on the road for the next 3 months. I just don't think it's the right time to try to jump into a relationship. Like, I'm on the road too much." And he goes,
Mhm.
"Don't worry. Like Dalton will be too." And I was like, "No, there's no way that somebody can be on the road as much as I am."
Yeah.
And he's like, he actually might be on the road more than you." And I was like, "Okay, I'm curious."
Hmm.
And so, anyways, we got introduced. He was hunting Georgia when I was back home in Florida for a couple days. He asked me on a date, and it wound up being Easter weekend. And I was joking with my parents, like, who the heck does this guy think he is? Like, asking me on a date, like, on Easter? Like, is he crazy? Like, kind of roasting him to my family. And we joke
Yeah.
about it now. And my mom was like, "Oh my gosh, well, nobody should be alone on Easter. You should have him over for dinner." And I was like, "Are you serious? Like, I've never even met the guy." And sure enough, I said, "Well, you're only 4 hours away. Feel free to come over for Easter dinner. We have a guest bedroom. You're welcome to stay in it." And he drove 4 hours and came and met me and my family on Easter and hit it off. Extended his trip. We went and hunted Georgia together for a couple days. And I flew out to Illinois that next week. Illinois is a draw state. And so I had to apply for tags in Illinois last year. And it was just a God thing. He lives in Illinois. And it was just a God thing that I already had a tag for Illinois and came up, and he and I were able to hunt together. Killed my first turkey in front of him in the state that he lives in now, and it was really special. Got to meet all of his friends and family, who are all here for turkey camp. And we said, let's just start traveling to more states together. We both were hitting a lot of the same states, and we're like, let's just do them together.
Yeah.
And like, how awesome is it that you have a place in Tennessee and I have a place in Tennessee? Like, we can go together and go hit both spots, or we'll have a backup spot.
Mhm.
And it was just really sweet how kind the Lord was in all of that in that story. And so we wound up going to Tennessee together, where I doubled with his best friend. Uh, and yeah, it just keeps getting better and better throughout the season. So where are we? So Tennessee. And then we came back and hunted Missouri.
Okay.
And this is where turkey season starts getting a little swirly. So we came back and hunted Missouri, and I was supposed to be flying out the afternoon of opening day of Missouri. And I was not planning to hunt Missouri. And he was like, "Well, you might as well. We have like the morning to hunt, and we have some access to some pieces just a couple hours away. It's pretty much on the way to the airport." And I said, "Okay." Like, it doesn't take much convincing for me to, go and hunt another state. And I'm trying to apply for my license online. And since I hunted deer in Missouri on public land this past season, which I was able to share with you about on our
Yeah.
first podcast, I thought there'd be no problem getting a hunting license. Well, I had an apprentice license for deer season because I didn't take the time to get my hunter ed approved. And so when I was trying to buy a license very last minute, I had to go and get my hunter's education
Oh,
approved in person.
oh, what?
I know. And so on the way there, it was still opening day, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, well, he should kill a bird then." And so we went out and we got into this field where we could see the hardwoods across this field, and the sun was rising, and we hear turkeys gobbling. So we try to make a move and get closer around this field edge, these birds, and they wound up being on one of the huge trees on the edge of the field. And we saw five birds. I think it was wound up being three longbeards and two jakes roosted on the field edge. And what happened is they pitched down perfectly. They walked right to us. We were sitting on the to where we were laying on a field yelping to
Mm.
where when the birds pitched down, they had to get curious. They had to come um, over and look over this field edge that we were on. And as soon as they did, they'd be in gun range. And so he already had his license because he had gotten it approved before, and he wound up killing a bird. And there was another longbeard that was just like standing there, and it took everything in me to be. I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I had a license. And anyways, I did what the right thing and watched the bird just do a perfect show. Um, and then we drove 45 minutes away to the local, I forgot what it was, sportsman's center or whatnot, and got my hunter's ed approved in person, drove all the way back to the piece of property, wound up calling the two Longbeards back in, and I missed. It was my,
No.
yeah. I missed, and I was so sad. I was like, oh my gosh, I had the perfect opportunity this morning. I did the right thing. These birds came in. I missed. What is going on? Um, and I was down in the dumps. I'm like, we just had the most perfect 10 days, got to see like amazing hunts in Illinois, and not only me killing, but his dad killing, and a bunch of his friends that I got to be a part of their hunts, and then go to Tennessee and double with his best friend, and then I rode out to Iowa with him and saw a few more birds die just to come and end this trip on a miss. I was like, there's no way, and I'm gonna miss, and I've missed before, and I'm gonna miss again,
Yeah.
and I'm so hard on myself and such a perfectionist, like. Oh my gosh, like what did I do? Like what did I do wrong here? Um, and yeah, I really didn't have an answer for that. And so I pushed back my flight another like 3 hours. And on the last flight going out that evening, we wound up calling those birds back up. So for the third time in the same day, we had a third encounter with those last two longbeards, and they walked right into us. They were just fired up, and it was the right time, and we were sitting in the right place. And after I'd missed, I shot twice
Mhm.
that afternoon, and I didn't have any extra shells in my turkey vest. And that's another mistake. Always bring extra shells. So
Right.
I'm literally have one shell in my gun. We sit down, and Dalton's like, Audrey, yelp one more time as like a last resort before we're headed out, and then we'll come back in, to the woods later. And sure enough, I struck the bird. It came down the ridge that we were sitting on, and with one shell left in my gun, and I was already like down in the dumps. I was like not super confident after missing twice. I was battling everything in my head, and so much of hunting is a mind game,
Hmm.
and I'm already exhausted from being out in the woods all day already. And anyways, the bird came in, and I had to tell myself, like, I've done this before. I can do it again. I don't have to let, my downfalls define me. Like, I don't need to focus on my two misses, but all the success that I've had. And it was really yeah, it was a mind game.
Hmm.
And I wound up killing the bird. It was amazing, and it was my Missouri bird to end the first leg of Dalton and I's turkey season together. And I wound up catching the flight that evening and flying out, and it was really special. But I also had to remind myself, like, in that moment, I was realizing that I was taking a really good thing, which is turkey hunting to me in my life, and making it a God thing. I had turkey hunting at such an idol in my life at that point in the season, and I thought I was unstoppable.
Hmm.
I had already had so many successes in the woods and watched other people have so many successes. And I was just, what, a week or two into turkey season, and I was riding a high. And I really do think that the Lord used that moment to really put me back in my place, humble me, and say, like, this is not everything. Like,
Hmm.
what are you focused on? Are you only going to be filled with joy when you have success in the woods? Or are you going to be filled with joy and lean on me even in not the most like special moments
Yeah.
and not the good moments in the woods? So I think that that really helped set the tone for the rest of turkey season for me on there is going to be losses and misses and days that you you leave the woods empty-handed, or states you leave empty-handed. And that's just like that's not what defines us.
Right.
And so yeah, so that was special. And then I flew out to Montana to hunt with my dear friend Ryan Yarnell from Turtle Box, and two of his friends. And it was awesome. I got to hunt with two people who the wife and the husband Tucker, that was his first Miriam that he was shooting, that he had ever shot. And then the wife, that was her first turkey she had ever shot,
Hmm.
Heather. And it was really special being a part of somebody's first turkey. And the couple doubled on the hunt. And so yeah, I was just there was so many really special points in the season, and to where I was able to hunt with so many different people and learn different calling techniques or hunting in different areas that I've never been to before, learning different terrain and how to hunt it and how to hunt mountains. Like me being from Florida, I'm not used to that.
Right.
Um, and so yeah, there was a ton of learning this season, and it was really again, it was really special to be able to hunt with new people too.
Yeah.
That always opens up my eyes, and it reminds me like, am I out there for me or am I out there to be a part of creation? And so that was really special to be able to share in all the wins and the joys of other people having success in the woods and knowing that, like, I would say 5, 6 years ago when I first started turkey hunting, it was all about me. And now, 5 years later, I'm so proud of who I've become because I'm just happy to be out in the woods.
Mhm.
And I'm really, yeah, it's just really cool to reflect on how much the Lord has done in my heart, but also how the Lord has, yeah, just like made me a more mature woodsman, a more mature hunter, that I'm just happy to be out there, no
Mhm.
matter who's holding the gun and pulling the trigger, or who's calling the bird in, or who's leading in the woods and making the plays on what we should do or where we should go. That I'm just glad to be out there, whether I'm leading the charge or not. And so I flew back from Montana. And I was hunting with a new gun this season. It is a Weatherby Sorex. It is a 20 gauge. And I put a red dot on my gun for the first time this season. I've killed a bird or two before with a red dot, but I was running a red dot on my own personal gun this season for the first time. And so getting used to that. Anyways, flying so much, assembling and disassembling a gun and reassembling it in the red dot, something happened to where my red dot got bumped in between Montana and when I was coming back home to go hunt Ohio and Indiana. And anyways, red dot got bumped. I had no idea. I didn't take the time to make sure my gun was sighted in before I was hunting. And I was in Ohio. We saw birds in a field. We got permission on this field. We snuck around these birds. We called them in right to 20, 25 yards. It was picture perfect, like exactly what the bird should have done. Come over this lip in the field on this wood's edge. And I was sitting on the base of a tree. My gun was on my knee. And I was, patient watching the bird do the show. And I love, like, everybody jokes with me, like, I want a bird in my lap. Like, I want a bird as close as I can. A lot of people will shoot a bird, like, as soon as they can, as soon as they become, like, in comfortable range.
Yeah.
Me, on the other hand, I'm like, I want to watch the bird put on a show for me as long as I possibly can. And I want them as close as they can be. And so, anyways, this bird was at like 20 yards, maybe. I was so confident and comfortable and shot and missed. So it was my second miss of the season. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what is going on? Like, what is wrong with me? And we did not have another opportunity in Ohio before we had to go to Indiana. I wound up missing in Indiana again. So that's now my third miss of the season. And Dalton was with me, and I'm like in a new relationship. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. I was trying to impress a guy that I liked, all this stuff. And he goes, Audrey, like, I've seen you shoot plenty. Like, we shoot clays together. Like, you're an amazing shot. I don't think it's you. I think it's the gun. I'm like, no, no, it must be me. Like, I'm the problem. All this because like I've missed before. Everybody
Yeah.
misses.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, Audrey, like, I think we should paper tune. like your gun. Like, let's just make sure your gun is shooting straight. And sure enough, at 20 yards, my gun wasn't even hitting paper.
Oh my gosh.
Somehow my red dot had gone bumped so bad, and I don't even know how that's possible between Montana and Ohio. And when I shot the Ohio bird, I clipped the lip of the field that he was on. I shot very low. Um, and anyways, the same thing happened in Indiana. I shot low, and he's like, I just don't think that it was you. Like I watched you, you took your time, you didn't yank the trigger, you know. And so, anyways. It didn't make me feel better at all
Yeah.
after missing two birds in two new states that I had never been to before. There's a lot of pressure there already. I didn't have many days in those states. I was running on very little sleep after travel, and anyways, yeah, I think that I mean spiritual warfare is a real thing, and I was at a very low point in that season. Again, we were running out of time. We had to leave the state to go to the next state, and we already had commitments with some other families and friends. And it was just really hard. And I didn't show all of that on social media. But yeah, it was really, I don't even know what else to say besides it was hard and it reminded me like, yeah, where am I rooted? And to make sure like I had things put in place, like I was getting into the word daily, or whether it was studying scripture by opening my Bible or listening to sermons from my church back home or listening to worship music, like what was I rooted in to keep me sane? Um, and yeah, and so anyways, we left Ohio and Indiana, and I was at an all-time low. I was super embarrassed for some reason. It was all sorts, like the devil was putting all sorts of things in my head that were just not true. And
Mhm.
like when I would go back to scripture and like who God is calling me to be and who God says we are as, daughters of the king, like everything that the devil was telling me was just not true. And so, and that's what I was like leaning into. And I was insecure and I was sad and I was questioning. And I remember sitting in the woods, and a big thing that this season we pray before every single one of our hunts. Like we start every single morning in prayer. And my prayer is, Jesus, just let me look more like you for my time out here in your creation. And I was sitting there in North Carolina with Dalton. We prayed the same prayer we do every morning. And I was so down. I was sharing with him, like, golly, I'm really down. And I was like, Lord, just like give me a sign. Like, please just show me your goodness and show me like this is where I need to be. And Dalton and I wound up doubling that morning, and we both killed double beards. And I had killed one double beard in my life up to this point. And I had not even seen another double beard get shot. And after this prayer and breakdown, and for God to provide a double with a guy that I just adore, and they were both double beards, I broke down like, holy cow, Jesus, you are so faithful. Like, you hear our prayers. And I think, and I always tell people this, like, God is going to give us each unique passions to bring us closer to Him.
Mhm.
And as long as we can, like, whether it's working out or running or reading or whatever it is, like, God is going to show up to us each uniquely. Like, we are all created so uniquely. And for me, that's hunting, that's the spring woods, that's flowers. And that's turkeys. And for him to show up in that way, I was like, holy cow, like I know that I'm on the right path. And I know that God is using turkey hunting to just draw me closer to him. And that's my mission field. I get to be so bold in talking about Jesus and my faith and how he shows up. And that was just like another testament to like, the Lord is real. He is all around us, and he is so present in each one of our lives. If we just open up our eyes and look, or if we just lean into him or pray bold prayers like, God, like, I need you to show up. Like, please show up in a mighty way. And so the double beards on Dalton and I doubling with a sweet family that we were staying with in North Carolina was just another testament to God's goodness this season. And then we wound up going to Virginia, where we both doubled again, which is unbelievable to me. We were hunting really quiet birds in Virginia. And I swear, the 3 or 4 days that we were hunting there, I think we heard like two gobbles or three gobbles. Like I thought, I was like, I don't even know if a turkey exists on this property. Like we see a few tracks and we see photos on cameras that, we have set out. But like other than that, like I have not seen a live bird the entire time we've been here. And patients killed those birds. We sat on a food plot that we knew that they were consistently coming to. They just did they didn't show up the first couple of days that we were there. But then yeah, they did and we left Virginia and we wound up going to the Northeast. And so we started our Northeast swing and we were hunting with one of our good friends, Nick Marsilio, the guy who actually set us up. And so it was really cool, 2 months later for us to all be together, hunting together. And, he was just giving us a hard time. And anyways, we hunted Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Maine, in that swing, and I've never hunted the Northeast before. And I learned a lot. What's cool about the Northeast is you can technically legally hunt anywhere that's not posted. If it's posted no hunting or no trespassing, you're not able to hunt it. But other than that, it's pretty much fair game. And I have to double check, but I think it's 150 yards from a house. You just can't be that close.
Okay.
But everything in the Northeast is technically considered public land unless noted otherwise. Um, Still, the respectful thing to do is go and door knock, ask permission, say, "Can I please hunt? I see longbeards in your field or in your backyard. Can I please hunt out here?" Um, and anyways, that was the Northeast. It was awesome. The
I was
birds were,
that I hate to interrupt Audrey, but was that
yeah.
the reel that you guys made where you guys were all coming out of in and out of the truck asking people?
Yes,
That was
yes.
adorable.
It was so awesome because door knocking is a very scary thing. You
Yeah.
are walking up to somebody, somebody else's house, somebody else's land in hopes that they're going to say yes, but they don't owe you anything.
Hmm.
And through that, we were able to meet so many awesome people that we're now like friends with that we sent like photos with the rest of our turkey season. We sent them photos like updating them throughout. Like they were so curious, like how many more or like, where else were you guys able to go this season? It was just really awesome. They were like, "Oh my gosh, no, we don't care. Like, please, like enjoy creation with
Yes.
us." And so when we wound up doing that in the Northeast and also out west, and a really special story out west, we hunted Idaho and Washington. And we had door knocked a property, and it was a mom and daughter that we walked up to this cabin, and it was overlooking a field, and there was three longbeards in this field, and their house was gorgeous. It was like an old log cabin, and I walked up. It was my turn to door knock, and a mom. It was a lady who walked up. I could see her daughter, which is probably our age or close to it, sitting in the living room. And I was like, "Hi, like I just got here. Like I saw that you have turkeys in your field. Can I please hunt them?" And she said, "Oh my gosh, absolutely. My husband, he was a turkey hunter, all of that." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, thanks. Like, really appreciate it." And anyways, we wound up going on the field. I killed a longbeard. I came back. I showed her, like, I was so excited. She came out with tears in her eyes, gave me a hug, and said, "My husband passed away almost 10 years ago now. And one of the most special things was he would go out and turkey hunt and he would always bring me back and show me the bird." And she goes, "I relived that moment 10 years later through you. My husband sent me you." And I was like, holy cow, like how special it is when you bring other people into your story, into your hunt, into your like she's now part of my testimony. It was another
Hmm.
way God showed up and spoke life through her to me. And it's like really special to know that I was able to be there. And through my love for turkey hunting, I just got a love on her.
Mm.
And so, anyways, I posted that story on Instagram. And, we sat there for another hour just swapping stories, and her daughter sharing these stories of how her husband had traveled all around hunting turkeys too. And again, it was like moments like that this season just brought me so much joy. Like outside of just like how I grew as a woodsman, and learning like and being bold and trying different calling techniques. Like the last couple years, I've only used a pot call, or I was most confident on a pot call, and to be able to bring out a box call and a mouth call this season, and really and a trumpet call. I've ran a wing bone call this past year for the first time, and I'd always bring it in my vest, and I would always practice because I would hang the wing bone call from my rearview mirror in my car, and I'd always practice in my car and always put on my turkey vest. But I was never bold enough to use it in front of other people, because it's just not a super common call to use. And every time I did, I had so much encouragement coming from the people that I was hunting with, like, "Oh my gosh, Audrey, like you can rip the wing bone. Like, why don't you use that more?" And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And so being able to like be more bold in my calling, and I'm really thankful for Dalton, like for that too. Like he would, and Dalton is one of the best callers I've ever heard and have ever been able to experience like hunting with and be able to learn how he calls. But ever since we first started, dating and spending time in the turkey woods together, he would always say, like, "Okay, whoever strikes the bird up, like we want you to continue calling." So like if he strikes a bird up, he is going to call until we kill that bird. And if I strike the bird up, he wants me to call.
Yeah, that makes
And it was
sense.
really cool. Yeah, it was really cool to have that kind of like trust and like put on me. Like he trusts me and my how I call and my decisions on when to call and when to be quiet and try to let the bird come in and be curious. Or, potentially like I'm gonna, set my slate call down and put my mouth call in and, hit him with a different tune or a different cadence than what I was doing, that he put enough trust in me. And
Mhm.
so it built my confidence so much this season too. But yeah, and then we ended our season after Idaho, Washington. We ended in Massachusetts. No, Michigan. We ended in Michigan. And yeah, put our turkey vest down in Michigan after us both killing a bird up there too. So that was, yeah, we went to a bunch of states, but I wound up killing in, yeah, the 16. And there's more, obviously, all the stories I got to share was more than just the turkeys and the hunts, but all the people we got to experience and how my faith was strengthened, and losses and misses and all of that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you just talked for like 40 minutes. Oh, thank you for sharing all of that. And honestly,
Yes, thank you
you,
for giving me the chance to. That's
yes.
awesome.
Yes, no, and I followed along and got to see all the posts and like you said, like it's kind of that highlight reel where you kind of want to be vulnerable and share the misses and stuff, but it doesn't feel the same unless you can talk about it like this. Like here's the platform, like give us the full story. And the fact that so much of your 39 days was just like not about turkey hunting is just
hmm
I love to hear that piece because you're right. Hunting in general is more than that, especially if you're
hmm
passionate about it. But wow, the stories that you get to tell and keep close to your heart and the lives that you touch just from turkey hunting. That story will stick with me forever. I think of that woman who lost her husband and you got
Oh,
to like what? That is insane.
I I know. It was just another moment I was like, holy cow, like this is so like I'm supposed to be right here
Hmm.
today. Like her daughter was supposed to be in that room when I came back with a bird. And so yeah, it was just all special. And again, it was all when we take a step back and look, like we're here for more than hunting. Like I'm here to bring glory to Christ, and we get to see his hand in all of it. It's like, okay, it all makes sense now. Like I'm here for a purpose and a reason. And yeah, it's really special.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. So you hung up the turkey vest. What is
Yes.
next? What's next for Audrey? What are you up to this summer?
Yeah, I we have been fishing, going to concerts. My birthday was just a couple, or I guess my birthday was mid-June, so June 17th, and got to go back home and do some fishing and went to a concert at Mossy Pond. It's a lodge in Georgia. They had Freedom Fest, so I got to
Mhm.
see Shenandoah in person, which is one of my favorite bands. That was awesome. And then yeah, we're gonna be doing some more fishing, scalping this summer. My family goes scalping for about a month, like on and off throughout, really from July 4th to mid-August, we'll scallop. And then we're planting food plots here in Illinois. That's where Dalton lives. So I'm super thankful to be included in all of that this year.
Yeah.
Getting to plant, we just planted beans and corn, and we're going to be planting turnips and radishes and all that fun stuff. And so learning land management, and that side of deer hunting this year, I'm super excited about. I have not personally been a part of planning food plots and doing all the work, pre-season. And so I'm super excited to learn and be a part of all of that this year. Setting out cameras right now, spraying clover. And so we've been putting a lot of work in the last couple weeks on all that. And then the next couple weeks will be just the same. He said
Yeah.
I have to put in the work in order to chase a deer this year. So,
Yeah. I
and
love
and I
it.
respect him totally for that. I love it.
Heck
So
yeah.
again, it's just challenging me and yeah, giving me purpose and so much learning and habitat management, all of that. I'm super excited to be just a better gamekeeper of the woods, and what it looks like, burning all of that to make the land look better and more sustainable for a healthy turkey population. Not mowing last month because all the eggs were on the ground. We got to see fawns, like being really careful too, like in the clover plots, we see fawns and fawns will lay down. And so learning all of that, I had no idea a fawn, would lay down and hide. And so, yeah, all of that is really special. And just, yeah, I'm excited to see how much I'm going to grow over the next couple months
Heck yeah.
in the outdoors.
You clearly have a great leader. Dalton's clearly
Yes,
very knowledgeable about what he
he
knows and what he
is.
does. And I think there's something so special about being a part of that piece because sometimes I feel guilty
Mm.
that, I hunt on private land in Wisconsin and my dad does most of the work, honestly. And you feel
Yeah,
guilty not being a part of that. I try to do as much as I can to like support our, fall and whatnot, but you can only
yep,
do so much when you're too far away from the property, obviously. So I
yes.
already know how good you're feeling about being a part of that because the
Yeah.
success will just be that much more sweet.
Correct. Yes. Like our land in Florida, my dad has spearheaded all of that, the same thing. And I've just always been on the road or at meetings or at events or hunting to where I haven't been a part of that as much as I wish I would have been. And now I'm challenged to really step up and be a part of that. And I'm in a season of my life too that I'm like, I want to learn. I
Yeah.
want to be, yeah, a good steward of creation. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, we
And so,
talked.
yeah.
Yeah. Did
Oh,
you have
go
more?
ahead. And so so we'll roll into deer season and duck season, and sure we'll be traveling around for that. And
Hmm.
yeah, and trade show season. I can't believe trade show season is right around the corner. We start at Ducks Unlimited August 1st. And so with Drake, a part of my role within the company, I get to help spearhead events and all the marketing and how we show up to events. And so there's been a lot of planning for that over the last couple of months. So turkey season was fun. There was still a lot of work on my laptop that had to
Yeah.
happen in the midst of it all. And so, yeah, gosh, like, yeah, just in a month, we have Ducks Unlimited and Rogers Sporting Goods and Game Fair and Saltwater Cowboy, or I guess Water Cowboys, Sandbar Social. Yeah, so we'll be on the road for a couple weeks back to back. And I'm excited for it because I'm a social butterfly.
Yeah. Yeah, you are, and you're good at it. Oh, I love
Oh,
it.
thank you.
How is your personal business going? Like, because you were so busy with Drake, how's that?
Yes, it is wonderful. I would say that DNA has kind of taken a back burner right now. My marketing agency has been put on the side for the time being as
Yeah.
my role with Drake has just been all consuming.
Yeah.
And it is so exciting to be pulled in so many different directions for Drake. So my official title is Director of Business Development and Community Marketing. And so I get to be the liaison between every company and person we work with while also spearheading a lot of our events and marketing. And so it is a lot, and I'm so thankful for it. Being a young woman in the hunting industry and having a seat at the table and being respected for my opinion and what I bring to the table has been so empowering for me. And being able to learn from so many people who are older than me and just just so much more experienced and knowledgeable in not only the woods, but also like how to run a business and
Yeah.
marketing and events and all of this stuff has been so awesome. I love learning. And so being in this role, gosh, for the last couple of months now, it's already been that long, has been, yeah, I've been challenged and I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. You like a good challenge.
Yes.
You are a hard worker and it's very clear. And you're so passionate about it too, which makes it like easy to do.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, we talked about camo. You mentioned that obviously
Mhm.
you are repping Drake camo when you're out hunting as often as you
Yes.
can. What boots were you wearing? Because you mentioned that you walked a lot of miles. You were up, down
Yeah.
in different terrain. Like what were you wearing for shoes? Because I feel like that's a key piece, especially during turkey season.
Yeah, so one of the things that I post about, I wound up walking 97.8 miles in the 39 days we were in the woods. And so some of those days we were walking 7 miles. And then other days, we were maybe only walking two or three. But I wound up going with my Hokas. My Hokas, they're like a brown, I guess Hokas we know as like a tennis shoe. And
Yeah.
they're almost like a base of a tennis shoe. But I forgot like the exact name of them, but they're more like the hiking boots style, but they still feel like I'm wearing tennis shoes. So they give me
Hmm.
the ankle supports. They have Gore-Tex on them, and so it's like a water resistant. They weren't fully waterproof. And so on some days, I my feet would get soaked. Like if I was walking, early in the morning when there was still a lot of dew on the ground, my feet would get wet, but I was willing to have wet feet when I had comfortable shoes on. When I was wearing it like almost like a tennis shoe, I was willing to give up dry feet. I had like two pairs of socks on. On
Hmm.
really cold mornings, though, and when the ground was wet, I would go with my lacrosses or my wingman, which were a full like waterproof boot. But on most days, I would always grab my Hokas. So those are my like all-time favorite turkey hunting shoes.
Okay, good to know. Good deal.
Mhm.
And back to Dalton, because now
Yes.
I need the tea. So you met him, he came to Easter, you guys turkey hunted, but like
Yeah.
Audrey, you're a very special girl. What is special about him? Like I want to know more of
Oh my,
like what made
oh
you
my
be like,
gosh.
yes, this man is awesome.
Yeah. So once we got set up, so it was really helpful to get a really good word put in about him through
Yeah.
somebody that I trusted already. And so I trusted Nick when it came to business and just advice. He's a couple years older and has a wonderful marriage. And so when he called me saying, I think that you're gonna like this guy, I was like, again, I was like already turkey hunting. I was like, I'm just not interested in a relationship right now. But I think that's always when the right ones come along, is when you're not looking. And he told me a few things. He said, Audrey, he's gonna be on the road as much as you are for turkey hunting. So I'm like, okay, I know that he already lives a similar lifestyle that I do. And I like that. He owns his own company in land management. So I like that he was so passionate and he was a go-getter. But Nick said he loves Jesus. And I was like, okay, well, if you can confidently say that as a friend in his life, then I know that, this guy's bold about his faith. Like Nick did not stutter when he's like, I don't know if he loves Jesus or not. It's like, no, Dalton loves Jesus. He is open about his faith. And those are like really big things that I was looking for in dating somebody, knowing that, I'm dating seriously. I want to date, for marriage. I'm
Mhm.
in my mid 20s and am not, and then, yeah, and knowing that dating it should not be taken lightly. And so when Dalton reached out to me and boldly pursued me, I was really impressed by that too. There was no like, we just want to text back and forth. Maybe I'll see you. As soon as he had an opportunity, it was like, I think he reached out, and yeah, it was like a week later when he was down in Georgia. He's like, okay, I'm only 4 hours from you. I'm going to drive and come and see you. And I also was really impressed by that.
Yeah.
And when he came to my family, he was so intentional with getting to know my mom, my dad, my brother, and his girlfriend, as intentional getting to know them as he was me in that evening as well. And I was really impressed by that and to see how he could communicate with people. He's very outgoing and goofy and can make everybody laugh. And I was really attracted to just the light that he brought into the room he walked in. And Then how he led me in the woods. I was super impressed by just how skilled of a woodsman he was, how wonderful of a turkey caller he was, and then he was always putting me first throughout the entire season, even in states that he had not yet killed a bird in, and it was maybe like his piece that he had access on. He still wanted me up to bat first.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, I'm just happy to be here. Like I would rather I'd rather watch you kill a bird. And yeah, he would never go first. He would always put me first. And that was really special that somebody like knowing them in such a short amount of time would put me before themselves, and just the selflessness that I saw how he treated me and then all the people in his life. I was like, yeah, I was just very impressed by it. And he's a good friend to so many. And so it was really cool. Yeah. Our saying this spring was like to be young and in love in the spring. Like,
Oh,
what an awesome thing. And so I'm excited to see, what it turns into and how we grow. We've only been dating a few months now.
yeah.
And so I'm excited to see what it's going to turn into. Being able to pray together daily, though, and in the turkey woods and diving into scripture and seeing that he has a relationship with Jesus before I came into his life was really awesome. And I'm like, at the end of the day, he is bringing me closer to the Lord. And I want everybody in my life, I want to push everyone closer to the Lord. And I want all the people that I choose to like be in my close corner to also be pushing me to the cross and calling me out like, okay, Audrey, like you're being irritable or you're quick to get angry right now because you're sleepy and you're hungry and you just missed. And like for people to call me out and call me to a higher standard. Yeah, it was just really good to have him in my corner this spring. So yeah, it's been special. He's special, and I'm excited, yes, just to see what our story turns into.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I've loved watching you guys, and he clearly is very special and has clearly pulled you closer to what you wanted to be pulled to. So I feel like it's
Yes.
just so lovely.
Yes, thank you. I
Sweet.
appreciate that. It's so funny now that everything's like slowed down a little bit. We like just went to the gym for the first time together last week, which is like really fun. It's like, okay, like what does life look like when we're not on the
Yeah.
road? Like being we also like look back, we're like, holy cow, we traveled to I think it was like 18 states together out of the 20 I wound up hitting overall. Most of our season was spent together. It's like some married couples don't even get to experience that in their lifetime. Like,
Hmm.
how lucky are we?
Hmm.
Um, and that was awesome. But like, what does like normal life look like? Like going to the grocery store and going to church in person and going to the gym. Like, what does normal life look like when we're not pulled in a thousand directions? And so, like, doing all those first together has been really fun. We went to a wedding this past weekend, and getting dressed up together. That was awesome. I was like, look, I can like wear makeup and not a hat and wear a dress. And he goes, I didn't even know you owned heels. I'm like, I kind of forgot I did too.
Been a
So things
minute.
like that. It's just been fun. And so this new season is fun.
Oh, I love it. All of this
Yes.
has been so fun. Well, Audrey, you know the drill. This is the end of the podcast, but I have some fun questions to ask because you never
Okay.
know someone completely.
Yes.
So tell us, I don't think I asked any of these questions last time. So, what is your
Okay.
favorite perfume?
Oh, I wear the Chanel Mademoiselle. I'm really passionate about it. I think, yeah, so I love Chanel.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever smelled that one, so I'm gonna have to.
There's so many different options, but it's like a light pink.
Uh-huh.
And I wear like the perfume version,
Uh-huh.
which I think is like a little bolder than whatever the alternative Chanel Mademoiselle
Hmm.
is.
Okay, I'll have to look. What is something that's always in your purse?
I always have some sort of like lip oil or Aquaphor chapstick, but like literally one right next to me is the Kosas lip oil, which
Oh
is super
yeah.
hydrating, and it's a drugstore find, so budget friendly. I love it.
Um, what is your love language?
Oh, quality time by a landslide. I love spending time with people. Like my family jokes, like my family, we were all like really hard on each other. And so words of affirmation was like never a thing in my family, but quality time was. And so, and I've brought that into adulthood. I love spending quality time with people I love.
Yeah. What was the biggest lesson that you learned during turkey season?
Mm. Kind of what I mentioned earlier, don't make a good thing a God thing, and God is going to crush idols in your life. And so being able to make sure that I put Jesus before things that I love, turkey hunting is a good thing until it becomes a God in my life.
Hmm. You had a lot of success both in your personal life and your hunting life, but
Mhm.
what is something you're currently dreaming about and something that you're going to work towards the rest of the year?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful question. I would say as far as my career, my like professional career, coming to this new role with Drake, I've been challenged in ways that I was not expecting, and I'm so excited to continue to grow with the company. I'm so passionate about Drake and the camo that I wear and the people that I work with, just the mission behind Drake as a whole. I'm really excited to see. Like how I spearhead events, what that looks like. And as I'm continue to get handed more responsibilities, how I'm going to grow and be challenged with all of that. So locking in on work, I think is probably, and I'm really excited about it. I love my job. I
Yeah.
think everybody should love their job. And so I would say work, and what that looks like the rest of the year.
I love it. Audrey, it's always such a pleasure to talk to you.
Aw, vice versa. Thank you so much. Thanks for giving me a
Yes.
platform just to share what the last couple months have looked like. I was so excited to do this, so thank you.
Yeah, yeah, you're so welcome. Thank you. Where can everyone find you?
Instagram is where I post on mostly. It's at Audrey_Wikan, Wikan. I'm also on Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat. And then I think I said this last time, but I really want to start posting more long form on my YouTube.
Yeah.
I have a current YouTube channel, but I barely post on it. And so I would say maybe that's one of the things that I'm also going to work with the rest of the year,
Yes.
especially like as I'm learning. Yeah, like what does land management look like? My deer season, my duck season, work, what I'm diving in scripture. I would love to just showcase more of who I am and what God is doing in my life on a long form platform like YouTube.
Yeah, people eat that kind of stuff up too because
Yeah.
we all like to learn. So like if you can share more of like the land management and the scripture and stuff too, because people sometimes like with me,
Mhm.
hey, like the first step is buying the Bible or like understanding what that
Yes.
step is, but then what? Like then
Yeah.
what's the next step?
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun to watch someone else or like follow someone along to do those things and learn yourself.
Yes. Okay. Well, this will be my encouragement. I need to start
Yes.
doing it. I
Yeah.
want to, like, I love creating. Like, I find such joy in creating and showcasing like what I'm doing and all of
Mhm.
that. So, and I'm like, I know God has placed that on my heart for a reason. So I just need to really just, yeah, take the time and do it.
Yeah. That's the thing. You just need the time and it's
Mhm.
time that we don't have.
I know. I know. I wish there was 25 hours in the day and eight
Yeah.
days in the week.
I know. And the other thing is too, sometimes I catch myself like, I just want to enjoy the moment. Like you just want to be out there with Delta and you want to be learning and like soaking it
Yes.
in versus trying to record it at the same time. It's tedious.
Correct. I know, like finding the happy medium. Like, what does that look like? What do I not want? Yeah, on social media or recorded, and what do I want to capture? So
Right.
yeah, it's a fine line.
Yeah. Well, Audrey, thank you so much. You are a doll, and everyone else, we will
Well,
catch you next time.
bye.
This podcast is sponsored by Taylor & Co. Taylor & Co. is a mother-daughter nurse duo-owned business specializing in handcrafted, all-natural, self-care products and services with an emphasis on health and wellness and holistic healing. Their products are handcrafted in Minnesota with pure, natural, and organic ingredients. They offer wellness services such as yoga classes, Reiki healing, and more. You can find them on Instagram or online at taylorandco.boutique. For a special little discount, you can also use She Goes Beyond 15 for a one-time 15% off. Or all future orders can use Victoria 10 for 10% off.